Proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station.
Now, Frank Andrews, Marisa Burt, meteorologist Paul Hefner, and Jay Christopher Sports. This is Newswatch 16 Midday.
Well, the flu bug is hitting the northeast part of the United States hard. Now, the Centers of Disease Control in Atlanta, Georgia, are urging the elderly, the most susceptible people, to be careful because the flu seems to be spreading fast. Several deaths have been blamed on the flu so far in the northeast part of the United States, and doctors are saying the elderly should act now to try and head off an outbreak of the flu. Another school in our area has been closed because of the flu. This time, it's the Ebenezer Christian School in Plymouth. Yesterday, 1/3 of the students there were out sick, so the principal decided to close for the day today to help the kids get over the bug. The flu has also hit the Weatherly Area School District in the past, the Penn Argyll School District, schools in Oliphant, and other parts of the area. Still, Department of Health officials say we are not at an epidemic level for the flu in this area. Officials in Binghamton, New York, still trying to find and fix a water main break in that part of the city that has it on an emergency footing. The break has reduced water pressure in Binghamton, forcing people to use bottled water for drinking. It's also causing problems for the fire department. Officials say they're concerned that low water pressure might be a real problem if a serious fire were to hit Binghamton. That city is about 60 miles north of Scranton. Water problems are a big priority with this state's Public Utility Commission. It says it would take $500 million to upgrade 400 water systems in Pennsylvania that it regulates. And now it wants you and I to pick up the tab for a study of those problems. Thursday, the PUC chairman told state lawmakers that it needs a bigger budget. Now, it needs 62 more workers, according to officials, and an engineering study on water problems. To pay for all that, the PUC chairman proposed a surcharge of 1 cent for every 1,000 gallons of water that we use. The PUC is seeking the okay for a $28 million budget for next year. Pennsylvania Secretary of Labor is in Allentown right now and is expected to get a lot of questions about Mack Truck's plan to leave the Lehigh Valley. The company says it's going to build a new $80 million plant in South Carolina. Some of the 1,800 Mack workers from Allentown may be transferred to that new plant, but the effect on that city's economy will still be great. Newswatch 16's Kathy Bellish is in Allentown right now with the Secretary of Labor. We'll have more on his visit tonight on Newswatch 16. And Newswatch 16 Midday continues in a moment with military maneuvers off the coast of Libya aimed at making a point. And the first teacher in space gears up for blastoff. We'll tell you about her planned visit to our area when Newswatch 16 Midday returns.
At Kaplan's of Scranton, it's strictly a cash and carry sale. The warehouse is being emptied with markdowns to a fraction of cost. Come early for the best buys.
Acme cuts their low prices even lower with hundreds of reduced price specials every week. This week, Farm Rich snack sticks are a delicious bargain. Acme's offering 2 for only $3. That's a savings of 89 cents on 2 packages. Serve them up for the whole family and keep them on hand as tasty snacks for unexpected guests. Farm Rich snack sticks, reduced this week at Acme. Cut your food bills each week with Acme's reduced price specials.
Libya says the latest U.S. show of force in the Mediterranean is an aggressive provocation that will not go unanswered. U.S. forces in that region are conducting military maneuvers in Gaddafi's backyard. And as ABC's Gene Reserve reports, the Pentagon is saying it wants to make a point.
The U.S. is conducting the exercises with the aircraft carriers Saratoga and Coral Sea and at least a dozen other ships in an area that runs from the middle of the Mediterranean to within 12 miles of Libya's coast. Included in the exercise area, the Gulf of Sidra. The U.S. refuses to recognize Muammar Gaddafi's claim that these waters are his and flies over them periodically to underscore its position. It was over the Gulf of Sidra that 2 Libyan jets were shot down in 1981 after intercepting and firing on 2 American aircraft. The Navy has not said whether it will fly over the area during this exercise. To do so would dare Gaddafi to respond with his newly acquired long-range missiles and powerful air force. Pentagon sources say an exercise in that part of the Mediterranean is long overdue, but they acknowledge there are other reasons to conduct it now. It will force Muammar Gaddafi to keep his military on full alert at great expense, and it will signal that the U.S. will not be intimidated from sailing where it chooses in what it regards as international waters. Gene Meserve, ABC News, the State Department.
The Voyager 2 spacecraft is closing in on the planet Uranus right now. It'll be zipping to within 51,000 miles of the planet in just about an hour, beaming back a treasure of pictures to NASA scientists. They've already learned that Uranus emits weak radio signals, possibly from a magnetic cloud, and that there are gassy clouds in that planet's atmosphere. Well, the countdown is on at Cape Canaveral, Florida today for Sunday's planned launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger. Now, one of the crew members will be Christy McAuliffe, a New England teacher who will hold a class in outer space. By the way, she will be the guest at the Scranton State School for the Deaf annual awards banquet April 11th here in Scranton. Here's ABC's Lynn Scher with a look at the first teacher in space.
The teacher who will be going into space, Christy McAuliffe.
From the moment she won over 11,000 other teachers who applied, the Boston-born social studies teacher from Concord, New Hampshire, has spent most of her time outside the classroom. It's a pattern she's followed in the 12 years of her professional life.
She'll bring the whole class right into a courtroom. And after the court session is over, the judge very frequently will stick around, and he will ask questions of the kids or allow them to ask questions of him. And that's the kind of thing she sets up.
I think she's an excellent communicator. That's probably why NASA chose her to be the teacher in space. She effectively communicates her ideas. She can take very complex concepts and simplify them, but not water them down.
Her temporary leave from students, husband, and 2 children to train for the shuttle flight has made her switch roles, from teacher to student again. But those who know the 37-year-old Christy McAuliffe insist the new role suits her well.
She does the unusual, the way she runs a class, and she's not afraid of things. She lives life. She's not afraid of it.
And in just a few days, she'll have the chance of a lifetime to live it at its height. Lynn Scher, ABC News.
Our Weather Watch forecast is coming up next. Now, we have an ice storm that Paul, our meteorologist, has been talking about all morning. You're still keeping track of that ice storm.
Yeah, and it still does not look very good for tomorrow night into Sunday. Looks like we may have some snow changing over to ice, and the possibility of it being a dangerous storm because freezing rain can drag power lines down, cause electrical outages, things like that. All the complete Weather Watch forecast coming up in just a moment.
Behold the amazing fresh Florida orange and the versatile fresh Florida grapefruit. You probably think of them as this or this. But with a little help from the folks from Florida, you can serve them a lot of ways. Try some of these. If you can't figure out what we've got here, write Box 100, Lakeland, Florida, and we'll send you the recipe. They're good, because in Florida, they know what they're doing.
Look for the special display of Florida Indian River grapefruit at all Sure Save markets this week.
If you're one of the people battling the flu, here's something for you. You know, for the past couple of weeks, we've been telling you about the flu bug that has hit this area. Well, people in Japan have a unique way to try to fight off colds and the flu and other ailments. All they do is take a plunge in ice water in freezing temperatures. Now, actually, the practice is part of a religious tradition. Shinto priests in Japan say the ice water rids the body of weakness and gives a person inner strength. And it's not just for grown-ups. Even kindergarten kids get into the frigid custom. They wash themselves down with icy water before they begin a race. That's the Japanese way to try and stay healthy. I think I'll pass on that. Take 2 aspirins and I'll call you Monday. Tell us about this ice storm.
Come on, let's go up to Harvey's Lake after the show and try that.
No way.
They may drop me in Harvey's Lake if tomorrow's forecast turns out on the wrong side. We do have a very, very interesting storm that's coming up. Again, I'd like to emphasize that it's too early to say exactly what's going to happen because it's still about 36 hours away. But we have an idea today that we are going to possibly get a dangerous ice storm, and I'll show you more on the computer in just a moment. Right now, lots of sunshine. Let's check in with our weather watchers, and we'll find out what they're doing at this hour. Carbondale reporting 26 degrees at the home of Vicki Wagner. In Muncie, it's 26 degrees, courtesy of Beverly Ryder, and Jane Zimmerman from Middleburg reports 29. In the backyard, we also have temperatures that are in the 20s at this midday hour. We're looking at a reading that is 23 degrees. The relative humidity continues to drop as more dry air comes in from the north. And the barometer very high now, 30.60 inches, and it's still going up. The satellite picture shows lots of clear skies from Maine down through northeastern Pennsylvania. Cold temperatures up there in the single digits, in fact, some below zero temperatures that were reported in Maine this morning. We're looking at some nasty weather gathering its strength out across the nation's midsection. Some snow up there in Minnesota and North Dakota. Looking at 2 to 5 inches that'll fall out there today. Already 4 inches on the ground at Fargo, North Dakota. Now, it's this storm system here that's our problem. We'll take a look at it on the weather map. It's going to dive down to the southeast. For us today and early tomorrow, no problem from this high-pressure system, temperature-wise right near 30. Clouds will begin to increase tomorrow, but the real trick is forecasting the track of this storm. Now, this is what I feel will happen later on tomorrow. I think that we'll see a storm system down by Tennessee. Now, my projected storm track will take it up through western Pennsylvania and up into northeastern New York State. Now, if that's the case, we'll be looking at some snow spreading in here in northeastern Pennsylvania. I would say sometime between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Now, the fly in the ointment. With the storm track out to the west, we're looking at some warm air that'll be coming in aloft. Let's say 10,000 feet over our heads. It'll be getting very warm because on the front side of the storm, the wind is from the south at the tip stream level. However, at the ground, that high-pressure system up to our north, still pumping in a cold east-northeast wind, and that's the prime situation for freezing rain. So I think that the snow tomorrow night should change over to freezing rain after midnight, probably sometime between 3 a.m., maybe 6 a.m. Sunday morning, then continue that way for most of Sunday. Okay, the travel forecast for this weekend, no problem tomorrow if you're traveling to the east. Boston, 30 degrees, 32 in New York. Philadelphia, also in the mid-30s. The snow developing later on in the afternoon out to the west. Now, here's the forecast for Sunday. Boy, does it get quite complicated on Sunday. We're looking for rain right along the coast from Cape Cod down through New York, down through Philadelphia. Readings are getting very close to 40, but lots of cold air still banked up across the mountains, so I expect to see ice from southeastern New Hampshire down through western Massachusetts. Here in the backyard, mostly freezing rain. Could be, again, a potentially dangerous situation. 37 for a high temperature. Maybe it might warm up enough to change that freezing rain over to all rain, and then it'll change back out to snow. I would like to mention, though, that with the possibility of having freezing rain and some power outages tomorrow, you may want to stock up on some batteries and canned goods. Again, it may not happen, but it's best to be prepared. All right, the forecast for this afternoon calls for brilliant sunshine temperatures that are going to be mainly in the 20s everywhere. 27 Dallas, 32 in Vicksburg. The Weather Watch forecast calls for that sunshine this afternoon near 28. Clear skies dropping down to 10 above zero tonight. A little bit of sunshine to start your Saturday off with, the clouds rapidly increasing. Some snow will be arriving, I would say, between 6 and 9 p.m. Could mix with sleet, change over to freezing rain. Temperatures will be in the 30s on Sunday. And then a mixture of rain going back over to snow, temperatures falling through the 30s on Monday. So, Frank, as you can see, it may be a rapidly developing situation. Tom Clark will be back on at 6 p.m. and 11 p.m. tonight with more updates.
And you'll be busy all weekend tracking.
That's right,
tomorrow night.
Sure.
All right, thanks, Paul. Have a good weekend,
You
Paul.
too, Frank.
Well, 2 days now till the Bears and the Patriots square off in Super Bowl 20. In a moment, Jay Christopher takes a look at the Super Bowl coaches and their strategies. Sports Watch 16 is next.
Granddad, what happened to the sunny lines in your glasses?
I wear Verilux now. They're better than my old bifocals.
You've got your Verilux. Mom, what's Verilux? Progressive lenses, honey. I should get a pair. You look great.
I see great. Far, near, and in between. I see so clearly, I feel younger.
Verilux, better than bifocals. If you'd like to know if you can wear Verilux lenses, come in or call Eye Care Optics, 288-6108.
Less is more, less is best, when your body says more, say less. Only 40 calories in every full slice, but the really great taste never goes the old way. More taste, less bread, say yes to less, but when your body says more, say less.
Can't wait to see the refrigerator and McMahon's headband this Sunday.
They'll all be there, Frank, on Sunday.
Big game.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sunday's Super Bowl matchup between the Chicago Bears and the New England Patriots will feature two distinct styles of play. The Patriots look for and take advantage of every miscue the opposition presents, while the Bears, well, they claw their way in the trenches, pulverizing anything that moves. Those styles reflect the philosophy of their coaches, Ray Berry of New England and Mike Ditka of the Bears. Mike Berry has more.
You pinch yourself and you say, do you realize where you're at and what's going to happen on Sunday? And I'm not sure that I understand all that totally yet. And I don't really want to understand until about 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. And then I hope I'm ready, and I hope that our 45 people are ready to go out and play as hard as we can for 60 minutes, and then we'll take our chance.
Bears head coach Mike Ditka is a gruff, no-nonsense motivator from western Pennsylvania, a former tight end handpicked by the late George Halas to lead Chicago to the NFL's promised land. And in his 4th season, Ditka has done just that. He has resurrected the monsters of the Midway. The Bears steam into Super Bowl 20 with 17 victories and a lone loss, fueled by a fearsome defense that held opponents to a stingy 11 points a game. And in the playoffs, the Bears shut out both the Giants and the Rams. New England is the decided underdog, but that's nothing new to the Patriots. They were underdogs in all 3 playoff games, and they won all 3 on the road, displaying a knack to force the other team to cough up the football. Raymond Barry has been on the job just 15 months, but the former All-Pro receiver, who used to be on the other end of Johnny Unitas' passes, has the Patriots believing in themselves. Like Barry, the Patriots are not flamboyant. They play conservative on offense, opportunistic on defense.
What I do differently as a coach than I did as a player, there's absolutely no doubt about one thing. I'm cashing in on some real stupid things I did as a player and not going to make the same stupid mistakes as a coach.
We'll find out on Sunday. Well, regardless of which team wins on Sunday, keep in mind that the sun will rise Monday morning, and the 1986 baseball season will begin in about 64 days, and that, well, I guess you kind of get the message. Speaking of messages, Bobby Knight of Indiana let it be known last night that his Hoosiers are a team to be reckoned with this season, even though they've fallen out of the top 20 ranks in recent weeks. Last night in Indiana, they upset 15th-rated Purdue 71-70 in overtime on a last-minute basket from Steve Alford. Game action. The lead continued to seesaw during the second half with Steve Alford and Purdue's Troy Lewis trading baskets. Purdue managed another run and pulled in front by 5, 69-64 on this long shot from Doug Lee at the baseline. But the Hoosiers refused to quit, and the game ended tied at 69. In overtime, Alford ripped the nylons with this guided missile to ice the game, Indiana winning it 71-70 in overtime. Elsewhere in top 20 college basketball action overnight, 11th-ranked Kentucky defeated Georgia 74-69. The Wildcats nearly lost the game, having blown a 24-point lead. Needless to say, Kentucky coach Eddie Sutton was very upset. In the game, forward Chat Kessler did his best for Georgia. This layup cut the Cats' lead to 6 points. Guard James Blackman gets the rebound of the game as he rocketed this monster jam. He had 12 on the night. Kentucky led at the break 43-27. Second half, guard Ed Davender gets 2 of his game-high 15 points early as Kentucky opened the gap to 24 points. The Bulldogs regained some of their finesse long enough to outscore the Cats 21-6 over a 7-minute stretch. Willie Anderson to Dennis Williams here, cutting their deficit to 9, but they couldn't come back as Kentucky held on for the 5-point win, 74-69. Well, before I say so long for this week, a story crossed my desk this morning. USA Today reported that this Sunday's Super Bowl game isn't for everybody. Sunday's game to a compulsive gambler who's trying to reform is like New Year's Eve to an alcoholic. Former gambler Arnie Wexler is quoted as saying, America's 12 million compulsive gamblers are more vulnerable before events such as the Super Bowl and the Kentucky Derby. And that's the Sports Watch for this afternoon, Frank.
I was going to give you my pick, but not after that. Thanks a lot. Have a good weekend.
Okay.
Stay with us for more of Newswatch 16 Midday, because it's almost time for our Friday forecast of fun. In a moment, we'll tell you about the Winter Carnival and the concert and the other special events in the area this weekend. Newswatch 16 Midday continues in a moment.
Ethan Allen's Welcome Home Sale. Welcome home to a variety of design styles at exceptional value. Save now on all our most popular furniture and home furnishings. Everything for the home, including free design assistance. Whatever your needs, whatever your taste, you'll find a great selection of Ethan Allen home furnishings now at winter sale savings.
The Carriage House, Clark Summit. Reliable Furniture, Williamsport.
And finally today, our Friday forecast of fun. And even though we have some messy weather that's headed our way Saturday night, there is still lots to do this weekend before and after the storm to help you enjoy your time off. Here are some of the things going on. The Northeast Philharmonic presents La Boheme tonight. That'll be at the Iron Temple in Wilkes-Barre, and the performance is set for tomorrow night at the Masonic Temple in Scranton. Now, both performances start at 8:30. You can contact the Philharmonic if you want more information. Scranton's Community Medical Center is sponsoring a special event Saturday at the Tanglewood Ski Area. It's the 3rd annual Asthma Ski Day, and you can call Community Medical Center in Scranton if you want more information. Now, the University of Scranton having its free throw championship Sunday in conjunction with the Knights of Columbus. That program starts at 11 a.m. Sunday morning at the John Long Center. It's open to kids who like to shoot baskets 11 to 14. And in Schuylkill County, the Greater Pottsville Winter Carnival goes on this weekend. Tomorrow night is Polka Night. with music by that group from Weatherly nominated for a Grammy, the Brass Release Band. That concert starts at 9:30 at St. Nicholas Hall, Hampton Pottsville. And finally, if you're more into winter sports than the Super Bowl, you might want to watch the snowmobile drag races at Lake Wallenpaupack this Sunday. And if you are interested, you can contact the Drag Racing Association at Lake Wallenpaupack for more information. Whatever you do, have a safe weekend. And remember, we'll be keeping track of that storm. We'll have the very latest tonight on Newswatch 16 at 6. And meteorologist Paul Heffner will have the latest information on Newswatch 16 weekend. We'll see you Monday morning, and I'll talk to you about the Bears win. Have a good weekend, everyone.
When you see news in the making, Newswatch 16 wants to hear from you. Call 1-800-533-NEWS. Toll free from anywhere in Pennsylvania. Call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. 1-800-533-NEWS.